Thank you.
I hope my grandmother likes the hummingbird feeder that I got her at the bird buffet. I see you bought some seed.
All this food talk is making me hungry. Have you been here before?
No, I think they just opened. The back of the menu gives the history and all the locations. So, have I gotten you interested in hummingbirds?
They're amazing. So small and so fast.
Look at this poster that came with my magazine.
Neat. But can we order first? If I don't eat soon, I'm gonna have to start snacking on this bag of seed.
Hold that thought. Will Josh be forced to eat like a bird? Will Sam serve up a lunchtime lesson on timelines? Make sure to watch Bird Buffet, then join the Knowledge Seekers as they continue through the menu of sequence text structure in this episode of Thinking Aloud.
That's a sandwich. Now are you happy?
Pass me a napkin and show me the poster.
Well, it has 6 sections that discuss hummingbird nesting.
It's a little hard to follow. How long is the nesting process? Some of the entries are in days and others are in months.
I agree. Let's put it into a timeline so it makes sense.
Authors use sequence text structure when they're referring to time, such as when they specify dates, number of days, weeks, or months, or when they identify passing hours. It's helpful to create a visual representation of the timeline in order to make sense of the text.
I know from the title Nesting Timeline that we are going to learn about the amount of time it takes for the hummingbirds to complete the nesting process. You notice that the author provides a range of time. We have to consider this when we make the timeline. Since she uses months and days, we need to select a common unit of time for the timeline. Let's use days. The entries need to be proportional so that they accurately reflect the passage of time. Here is the first section. Hummingbird watchdogs, 3 to 4 months. First, male hummingbirds begin to aggressively defend the breeding ground where the female hummingbird will build her nest and lay eggs. It is pretty obvious that this is where we need to start. It is the first event the author discusses, and she uses the signal word first. We need to convert months to days. 3 to 4 months is approximately 90 to 120 days. So we label the first time period, defends breeding ground, and record the time frame of 3 to 4 months. That's 90 to 120 days.
How about this section? Under construction, 5 to 10 days.
Well, it says next the female hummingbird chooses where to build the nest. She gathers plant down, feathers, spider silk, and other materials to make the nest. She works alone on her nest building task. The word next signals that this is the second entry on the timeline. We label built nest and 5 to 10 days. Now we're on to excellent egg laying, 1 to 3 days.
Excellent.
Don't be weird. The text says, then the female lays 1 tiny white egg. 1 to 3 days later, she lays the second egg.
Then is the signal word, isn't it? Wow, that's going to be a very short entry on our timeline.
It is. Let's record lays eggs and the time period. Now on to waiting and warming, 12 to 14 days. Most of the day and all through the night, the female hummingbird sits on her eggs to incubate them. The first egg laid is the first egg that hatches. Here we learn what goes on during the time period. The female hummingbird incubates the eggs almost full time for the next couple of weeks, when I read most of the day and all through the night. The eggs hatch at the end of this stage, so we add eggs hatch and 12 to 14 days. Women do all the work.
Whatever, keep going.
Hummingbird nursery, 18 to 25 days. Brooding her baby hummingbirds takes up the majority of the mother's time. She protects them, keeps them warm, and feeds them as they grow. We just extend the timeline, record 18 to 25 days, and add the label broods babies. Last but not least, early exploration, 4 to 7 days. Finally, fledgling hummingbirds begin to leave the nest. The mother hummingbird may continue to feed them for up to a week. Eventually, they're on their own to find food. I know from the word finally that it signals the last entry on the timeline.
This helps me to make sense of the poster.
You know, sometimes you just have to draw it out. The visual makes it easier to understand. Look at the timeline on the back of the menu. It quickly conveys the history of the restaurant, important dates, and how it's grown.
I didn't know there were so many of them. Oh, I'm so full.
Oh, I was hoping you were up for dessert.
Did someone say dessert? Server.
Like the hummingbird, knowledge seekers have insatiable appetites. For learning, they pay close attention to sequence text structure, identify signal words, and draw timeline graphic organizers while they read. Now that you're humming along, make sure you watch the next episode of Thinking Aloud.